from Little Girl Central. Here we are down in our bedroom at my mom and dad's house, working on the working on a template for the design that goes on the sail. And what I've done, I've gotten myself a straight line that follows the edge line all the way to the top of that arrow-looking thing you saw in one of the previous episodes. But then what I did, I had to come off down here, and I took the other angle and I cut along the bottom of this to get this angle, and it is not a square angle. And then I extended it out. Well, before I extended it, what I did, I pulled the line off from the point down here back onto this bag. So what I'm about to do here is go ahead and just extend that line right out to the point, and that becomes the point that I'm looking for. It's kind of a step-by-step process. I'll show you a little bit more in just a minute after we get this line on and we get it cut. This is a long overdue new stuff corner. Let me get out my knife. This will go with the new stuff corner I did. Here we go. On the first episode. Maybe this will be the only, I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out later. I've never opened this. I've had this since, what was the date on it? Good grief, it's been a long time. I've had this a long time. And kind of looking forward to seeing this material we got. I think it's much brighter. I think it's a brighter blue than the very dark faded blue material that's on the sails. But in here I've also got numbers, not just well, it's not bad. It's pretty dark. Looks like it's gonna match. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get it out of the wrapper here. Cool. Not bad at all. It's not going to be... for some reason, I visualize this as a lot brighter than what they sent. And that's all right. It's actually going to look good, pretty well matched with what I've got. Okay. There is the material. I don't know if you can... It's kind of hard to tell in this light in here. But it feels like it's adhesive Dacron fabric. Feels like Dacron anyway. And all right, we'll get to work on this. I'm probably gonna experiment with this a little bit before I go ahead and film any of this. But hey, Merry Christmas in June. Well, here we are. I just checked and looked at how much more is left on the roll. I've got plenty. I could do probably 4 or 5 of these. But anyway, there is the template. It's all down. Thankfully, this material is laying very nice and flat, except right there at the curled edge. But I'm going to go get me a magic marker and very, very, very carefully try to get the insignia scribed onto the new adhesive material without any faux pas. So anyway, all right, I'll be back in just a minute, and I got to go get me a proper marker, and we're going to go from there. Well, that's it for this trip, guys. Sorry I didn't show cutting this out, but I took it upstairs and cut it on the island where I had lots of intense light to work with. And I could not record up there because my family is talking and watching television, etc., etc. So anyway, first one's done. This is port side. We'll do one more at another time for starboard. And in the meantime, thanks for stopping by Restoring Little Girl. And hey, been a great, great trip. And hope you enjoyed these and got more to come. Well, good morning, guys. It's a little before 6 o'clock, and this is the time of the day I've got to do this. It's going to be a hot day today. I think we're going to be up near 90, and so as soon as my wife gets up, everything will be buttoned up. Noise will be going on, television, work in the kitchen, etc. And the distracting factor will be the stupid air conditioner. I hate air conditioners. So, anyway, but we're up early and gonna do another segment here. One of the things I've discovered after I got home, well, actually I knew it when we were on the Cape, was that my mother's yardstick was, let's put it this way, it couldn't draw a straight line if it tried. I looked down the edge of it, and it was bowed both sides. And so anyway, was to take my original insignia for the Seafarer that I had cut while we were down on the Cape and taped it down to some fresh material. And then I got out a yardstick and I sighted down the length of it. And by the way, anytime you have a yardstick, if you're planning to draw a straight line, I mean, you're picky, and I'm picky about straight lines. Put it up to your eye and sight down the edge of it to see if it's straight. And if it's not straight, don't use it. Try to get one that is. Steel rules are really good. They're pretty much 100% accurate. But this happens to be a wide, heavy-duty yardstick, and it's pretty good. I taped that down to the new material, and I'm going to show you what I did here, and then we're pressing on because I'm going to do 2 of these that are going to be a whole lot more accurate than the one that I cut on the Cape. So let me turn this around. We're all set with this. This straight edge is all lined up exactly where it needs to be, and I'm not going to move it to illustrate because I've got it dead on. But suffice it to say, you can't see any of the original edge of this old insignia here. I am literally right on the very edge of it, so that what I'm drawing is actually a brand new line along that edge. Like I said, only this edge is going to be straight. So this one I'm going to do all the way around. Always when you get ready to do this, make sure that you get the light pretty much directly overhead, or actually to the side where you're going to be drawing that line. Otherwise you're going to be kind of shooting in the dark, literally. So, all right, let me get started with this, and we'll show you when we get this thing all traced out. See how far off that original edge was. Okay, see the black line, the dark line to the right. Okay, look how far off that is to the actual edge here. The edge of the material is so far off, it's ridiculous. And like I said, that's because of that wonderful yardstick that my mother had. I told her, I said, Mom, this thing's not worth spending. Look, if you're just measuring something, it doesn't matter. And if you're not all that picky, it doesn't matter. But I'm just kind of picky, and when I'm doing an insignia like this, it's going to be up on a sail. Probably nobody would notice from a distance, but I would know. So anyway, okay, continue on here. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this marked out. Well, there you go. This one's all marked out. So we now have 2 of them. Very nicely marked out, ready to cut. Much better than the original. Like I said, got a decent yardstick with a very nice straight edge, and we're good to go on this. You know, when you're doing this, be on an absolutely flat, solid surface. When I did this originally down on Cape Cod, I was on carpet. No. That was really dumb. It was all I had to work on. At Mom and Dad's house, that's the only area I had to work, so that's one of the reasons it didn't turn out very well. after getting the insignia cut for the, let's see, this would be for the port side, I put it up against the starboard side and I realized they're exact opposites. That means I've got to do another one. And thankfully I've got enough material to do it. And so I've got to do a layout with this on the back side. And that way when this turns over, it'll be ready to go on this side. This is starboard. Anyway, I'm glad I caught that before it was too late. So I just sat down on my computer and watched the Sailrite instruction video on applying logos. Extremely helpful. Here I am about to do this very thing with a, I would say that it's probably equally as complicated as the one they show, but I'll tell you right now, that was really good. If you've got any questions, you're getting ready to apply the self-adhesive material that Sailrite sends out, and you're particularly doing a logo and one that's complicated, watch that video. It's awesome. It'll really help you get headed in the right direction. So with that, I'm going to go upstairs and see what I can do. One more thing to add to this. I just looked it up because my old sail is extremely wrinkled, very, very old. And I wondered, can you iron sail material? Well, in the Sailmaker's Apprentice, which is virtually the Sailmaker's Bible, it comes right out and says that that's part of the original preparation of sails, is that they iron the material. So number one, I think I'm going to go up and iron that area where the new logo is going to attach, and we'll see where it goes from there. That's a wrap. The new insignias are on both port and starboard, and they came out fantastic. It's interesting that this material stretches and it changes shape a little bit. It's close enough. I mean, the only thing you see, and by the way, they stretch exactly the same, both port and starboard. You see this right here? See the line? Now you follow those lines, everything. When I cut this, it was perfectly right on the money on those seam marks. And by the time I got it on both port and starboard, this is the way it landed. And you know what? I don't care, because nobody's going to know the difference out on the water. It's still the Seafarer emblem, and from a distance, nobody's going to see a little bit of stitchery that is not quite lined up with the way that the insignia lined up. But you know what? I think it still came out great. I ironed the material before I put it on, and it just came out well. So, hey, we're done. We're done. This sail goes back to the Cape. It's ready to go on the boat as soon as the boat goes in the water.